Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Doing well.
All
Good
right.
morning, Lawrence. I'm
Oh,
going to be off camera for
Queen
a
Kelly.
few
Good evening.
minutes and then I'll be able to be.
No problem. Glad you're here. Good morning, Queen Kelly. Good morning, Dee Dee.
Good morning, everybody. Happy
Morning.
Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you.
Mm.
Likewise.
Good morning, Lawrence.
Who is that? Susan. Hi, Susan. Good morning. Good morning, Ripples. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Hey, hey. All right, Dr. Tears. Okay,
Good
it is
morning.
that time. Good morning. It is that time, Friday, the 22nd of May. And as usual, my little spiel starts with the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We shall persevere until we succeed. Or it is in our destiny if we quit. Og Mandino. So on that, I'd like to start with two little well, one video and a snippet of another one. So I'd like to play this one if I may first. And I'd like you to see this. Hold on. At the beginning of this. And we go to here and zoom, share screen. And I think this is it here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So listen to this guy here. This is a billionaire. He was interviewed and he's very, very successful, obviously. We can Google him later, but right now I just want you to hear this part of it. It's just a minute, but oh dear, I'd like to show you the share screen. Here we go. 1 second, zoom and share. Okay, here we go. So here we go.
Calls every single day. When I was starting out in business, I was living in this 500 square foot one room that I shared with my roommate. Literally used my television box, cardboard box. I flipped it upside down, and that was my desk. And as I started to get more traction in business, I was like, I wanted this to feel like I'm in business. I wanted an office. So I made a deal with my friend who had like a stock brokerage company, whatever, that I could get one of the desks in his shop for free. But in return, I had to make cold calls for him from 6 at night to midnight every night. So I would work all day at this desk and then they would all leave. And then from 6 to midnight, they would give me like 1,000 names and I would cold call them one by one. I hated it, but I learned a lot of things. Number one, you're gonna get rejected. I would make hundreds of calls until I finally got one person that said, yeah, I would love to speak to your boss tomorrow. And then I would give them the ticket and be like, call this guy tomorrow. We would love to talk to you. So sometimes it takes hundreds of no's to get that one yes, but sometimes that one yes can change the entire trajectory of your life. Number two, you never know if the next call that you make is going to be a sale or opens up a door. You have to forget about the last play. It's always next, next, next and keep hunting until you find that one yes. Number three, attitude matters. I realized that the people at the shop that were getting the most leads had the most enthusiasm. They were the most upbeat. After all the rejection, the next call, they were still super energetic and they always ended up on top. Number four, never tell yourself you're bad at sales. Never tell yourself you're bad at anything that you're doing. You just keep working and getting better. You look for ways to get better. After a lot of calls, I started figuring out, well, this didn't work. I eliminated this did work. And I started building until my pitch got a little bit more perfected and polished time after time. Whatever you're doing, it takes reps. Sales takes reps. Public speaking takes reps. Leadership takes reps. You have to put yourself in that environment where you can then get better. And number five, stay in the game. If you're in the game, luck can find you. Good things can happen. If you quit, it's all over. Stay in the game.
Not telling
Okay.
you this, the guy that just pulls up on four
Hold on, sorry. Okay. So that was one. The other thing that I'd like to show you is this. There we go. 1 minute. Here we go. And share screen. I'm just going to show you like 30 seconds of this. Share screen. Share screen. I think this is it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, see if you can hear. There's Robert Kiyosaki, and he's got 15,000 properties. And there's only one message I want from this, and then we'll discuss it a little bit.
You see, because you go to school, you don't know, and most school teachers are good people. You know, they mean well. They're employees. They need job security. They need a pension, and that's going to affect your brain because that's who they are spiritually. They're cowards. No, they're really. But choose your teachers wisely. Where that comes from. I was in Sunday school.
Okay, choose your teachers wisely. That's Robert Kiyosaki. It's a small snippet of that. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to go on. On the first part of the little video, it says something about what went well, what didn't go well. We've got to have that introspection daily. Daily. We've got to ask ourselves, what did I do well? What could I have improved on? And that's your lead and lag measures. We talk about that all the time. The lead measures and the lag measures. Lead is what you're going to be doing, and lag is what you've done. How did it go? So on those, that's part of what I wanted on that part. We're still looking at the atomic habits, and so we're going to discuss that a little bit. But I thought it relevant because what Robert Kiyosaki said was choose your teachers. You know, and this is the other thing that is also important is make sure that you're the average, you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Make sure that they're all somebody that have got something better than you have to add to the party. Don't be the smartest person. Find people that have something better than you have and learn. That was the part I wanted there. And here now is a couple of lessons that I learned and something that I wanted to talk about now. So, growth lives outside outside of your comfort zone. Growth. In other words, you've got to become uncomfortable. Actually, Kelly said the comfort zone is just beyond your discomfort zone. In his own words, I can't remember exactly, but it was you have to be uncomfortable to find your comfort zone. So I want to say this, and that also has to do with, let me tell you what happened this week. When we're talking about one more, we're talking about, never give up and keep going and so on and so on. And I talk about the one more, the one more. That's another part of what I always talk about. Just do one more, a little bit more. So this week I went really out of my comfort zone. I went all over the place. And I want to tell you 2 stories. One is I went to see somebody, and this is now the sixth time that I'm visiting this person. He's got, I don't know, hundreds of physical therapy centers and so on. He's got lots of employees. And, I've been to see him 6 times. This was the 6th time. And this was a time when that the clock was at 12 o'clock, because the other times he's yeah, okay, I'm busy, and and he's looking at his iPhone, and he's got calls and whatever. This time he sat down and he actually listened, and he called two other people. He called his marketing people, a person, and another expert in his field. And I spoke to them. And the marketing guy said, look, he said, I really don't care about the science. I'm a marketing guy. If these guys, if the owner of the company and the expert in the field likes this, then I'll do it. So you've got to convince them. So I then said, I showed some of the studies and all this, and he said, okay, we know all that. That's okay. It's good. How's your business system set up? So I said, well, you get somebody to buy products. That's the whole point of this, is to buy products, to have subscriptions, and you get a commission on what the subscriptions are. Anyway, after I spoke to them, the marketing guy said, what's the name of your company? So he looked it up, and then he said, nah, it's okay. It's all right. It's doing all right. So then he said, if I put in an order for 20,000 units, would you be able to fill it? 20,000 units. And I said, okay, it's not April Fool, man. This is serious stuff. He said, I'm serious too. He said, my marketing team will blow this thing up, but I want to know for sure that you're going to be able to supply. Well, that's a huge surprise for me, because I had no idea that we were talking about somebody that could be so big. And that's what I'm saying when you do the one more, and you just keep going, and you never know who's going to come up with it, with what. Sixth time I went to see this guy, and on this time he had his marketing guy, and his marketing guy wanted to know, if he really blows this up, can we do it? And we've got to be prepared for that. I was really side bombed by this. Then yesterday, I went to another place. I went to an event yesterday, and the guy was giving a talk about AI. That's why I went. I went to kind of listen to a little talk about AI. I know nothing about it. I use it all the time, but I don't know much about it. I don't know anything about it. And this guy gave the talk on AI. And so I listened to him, and then I went to talk to him. And he listened, and then he called three other people in his team. And we all sat down, and he said, listen, you've got something that's really amazing. I said, I know that, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do the marketing on a scale that I really want. And they listened, and they took notes, and they said, listen, this is something that we will really get involved with, because we talk about the theory of AI, we talk about how to do it, but this is a practical way for us to actually do something very, very big and constructive. What's the moral of what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say that, first of all, you never know who you talk to. We never really know who we talk to. And that it becomes important to stay in the game, obviously, but also, this is like an ATM. This is the moral of what I wanted to say. This is like an ATM. It has to do with everything that is in the atomic habits. Exactly in there too. For example, getting out of the comfort zone. That's what I did. For example, it's doing your lead and lag measures, which I've been doing. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Why am I so complacent? Why am I in my comfort zone? What can I get out of it? How can I get out of it? and then going to look for something that's way bigger than we thought. These two people, these two groups that I spoke to this last week, I'm not saying it's even going to take off. I'm not making any expectations to myself or anything else. But just imagine that one guy says, yeah, I'll take the marketing job, not the job. I'll take on the marketing for our company. But we want to know that if we came to between now and December, that you'd be able to do 20,000 of these. Would you be able to supply? Well, suddenly we're talking about, onesies and twosies and a little group here and a group there, to suddenly looking at something that is on the scale of a wolf or a scale of a Fitbit or a scale of an Oura Ring. So don't limit ourselves to thinking small. Think big. And the ATM, it's a money-making machine. Go to the ATM and go and tap the ATM. The first little video we saw was also enthusiasm after if you do something and you haven't succeeded and you're doing 100 calls and you still haven't had anything, that one call could make a difference. Imagine these two groups that I saw this week. They could make more than I've done ever in all of the years I've been in the business. But I've never lost my enthusiasm. I've never lost the vigor to go out there and the swagger. Even though I may have had a failure, which not may, I've had many failures, but I've never lost my swagger. I've never lost my enthusiasm to go out there. I still feel like I'm 25. Why? Because we've got something that nobody's got. We've got something absolutely fantastic. And and we've just got to keep tweaking our marketing and our how we sell, who we sell to, how we talk to people. Yesterday, I went to Rotary Club at 7 o'clock in the morning in Rotary. And one of the people there won what they call the Umbrella Prize. And he has the right to talk for a couple of minutes. And he's a Rotarian. And he said, I am a janitor. And my immediate thinking was, you're a janitor and you're a Rotarian? He says, yes, I started this business and I now have 1,000 employees in 26 states. But my job is a janitor. I've done schools, airports, I've done airports, I've done, janitorial work everywhere. I've got 1,000 employees. Man, the point is, if you want something, if you're passionate about it, go with it full steam. Comments, please. I've said so many things today. I get too carried away, but please, if you have any comments, I really would like to hear them.
Hey, Lawrence, if you don't mind, could I say a couple of things?
No, I don't mind. On the contrary, please do.
So I've been listening, and you hit on so many good notes. One of them, right in the two of them actually. The first little video you played. Don't let anyone talk negatively to you, but more importantly, don't be hard on yourself because your mind absorbs that. Bruce Lee has a famous quote about that. Don't call yourself names. Don't think negative things because you absorb that and you start to believe it. Robert Kiyosaki, choose your teachers well. That's so important. And it brought me back to my freshman year at University of Miami, where my business law teacher walked in, introduced himself, and said the reason he's our teacher has been practicing law for 15 years and he never won a case. So Yeah, choose your teachers well. Very, very, very good points, Lawrence.
Well, learn from people who have been successful about whatever it is. And that's why I'm saying that in every field, everybody we talk to is an expert in their field. And we have something incredible. And we've got teachers like Nathan Ricks and Scott and a lot of people who've gone before us in our business.
Correct. And you know, and if nobody, if there's people on this call that aren't aware, that entire video is worthwhile watching, because you may not know, and you may know that Robert Kiyosaki was made famous by his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he compares his real father, who was a PhD, a teacher, and poor. You know, he had all the degrees. He should have, you know, he went to school. He followed the rules. He saved money, and he ended up being poor. And he's, you know, telling his son to do the same thing, Robert. And Robert's neighbor, I'm sorry, Robert's friend, his father was wealthy, and it contradicted everything that his poor dad, you know, was telling him, and he chose the path of following the neighbor's advice. And it puts us, you know, into an entrepreneurial position, you know, like we're in. Put him into an entrepreneurial position like we're in, of leverage, you know, with what, 15,000 properties, each one's producing $200 a month. It sounds like, you know, 15,000 scanners, each one's producing, you know, a few $100s a month or something. So that's the true leverage right there. And that's how to get not rich, wealthy. Rich is short term, it doesn't last. It's a pile of money that people go through. They see it with lottery winners all the time. It's that money hitting your bank account every month that's wealth.
Perfect. Thank you. 100%. Yes, sir. Kelly.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Michael. Go ahead, Kelly.
That was great, Mike. I'll just piggyback on that. But I think the underlying of everything you said this morning, your actions, Jesse Eisler and Robert Kiyosaki, I'm going to give you guys 3 words, and you're going to write this down. This is going to be worth millions of dollars to you if you pay attention. Figure it out. If you look at the Jesse Eisler story, he wasn't told what to do, how to do it. He was just given a task. Everybody talks about, so Lawrence, what did you say? I need to know who gives a shit? Figure it out. There is no rule book. Everybody's can I do this? We have a system. We have this. We're lucky we have some structure, but figure the damn thing out. It's that easy. The guy was given a small little room and he figured it out. Oh, a desk. Then he figured out the next step. Then he figured out, now the guy's a billionaire. He figured it out. I think when we get involved in something, we get so caught on the little tiny, what did he say? How did he say it? Who did he say it to? Lawrence just went out again, put himself vulnerable, and he got in front of somebody, probably, you know, hey, a lot of things going on, working with a marketing guy, working with all these other things. He didn't have the knowledge, but he figured it out. So figure it out. Quit relying on everybody else. That's the issue I see. I wish I had a Lawrence and a Mike Cook. I would be the team elite in weeks with these guys, right? That's the key, that you have the right mindset, set it forward, but figure it out and move forward. I don't know what people wait for. An invitation from someone you're seeking, right? Be strategic. Don't be a chaotic person just running around, but have a target and figure it out. So I get so pumped up about this stuff, both Mike and Lawrence. I mean, this is my wheelhouse. This is what I do. This is where I'm zeroed in on. So I just love
Kelly, that's absolute solid gold. And that, you know, my grandfather had a stroke in 72, of course passed, but he had a stroke in 72 and he couldn't speak very well after that. They didn't have the therapies back then for stroke victims. But one thing that I'll never forget, whenever, I had a question, he would say, "Figure it out, boy." He could say that perfectly clear. He could say a few curse words perfectly clear too, but everything else, he had trouble saying, but he would just say, "Figure it out." And what's he really saying when he says that? Think for yourself.
Exactly. That's
Learn to think for yourself and figure it out. And that's something that they do not teach in school. They teach memorization of facts and figures. That's great. But if you don't know how to critically think about how to apply those, it's worthless information.
absolutely. That's it. That's it, Mike. That's it. Grandpa,
Figure it out. I love it.
figure it out.
I'm gonna get a shirt. I'm gonna get a shirt. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, there's two other words though, Mike. It's, think for yourself, which is actually a very good definition of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other two words are take action. Because you can figure it all out, but if you're not out there taking action, nothing's going to happen.
Well, that's like the old saying, you have 3 cats on a fence, 2 decide to jump off. How many cats are left?
3.
Exactly. Because you could decide, but unless you jump, that's it. That's it, Jim. It's a good call, Lawrence. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Michael and Jim. I wanted to add another little thing on this that, you mentioned, Kelly, you mentioned people say, well, is there a script? What should I say? How can I say this and everything? I have never used a script ever. And when people say, what do you say? What is the script? I say, speak from your heart. First of all, try and understand, first know what you got. And again, I always start with the first words. First thing is, tell me who you are in 5 words and I'll understand more about you. Who are you in 5 words? If you can tell me who you are in 5 words, I will understand who I'm talking to, beginning that. And the next thing is, who are you talking to so that you can understand where they are, find where they are, and then you look for those pains. The pains are the money, the time, the stress, the self-esteem type of things. If you understand that, you can address what they need, and you don't need a script. It's spontaneous. It's from your own emotion, from your empathy, from your analysis of that person. How can I help that person achieve what that person needs? Then I will achieve what I want. And it's figuring it out. You're right, 100%. Because everybody's different. There's not one size fits all. A nurse is a completely different person to a finance director at the bank. Everybody's different. We've got to exactly figure it out. We've got to navigate who we're talking to and address them. Anybody? Don't be shy, guys.
I'm still figuring it out, but I haven't given up on I think for me, I'm doing the one more thing internally. I need to convert it to the action externally, which you and I are working on, Lawrence. But I like today's call a lot.
Good. Thank you.
I'd like to share something.
Please.
I had gone, I had a meeting with someone in the Baycare system. She has a aesthetics. I went and saw her. She scored really, she was in the red. But she was very interested in the product, and we talked about health and nutrition. Of course, I had my prism with me. And so that went very well. So we're going to follow up. But what was interesting is I ran into a young man on the way out, and we got talking, just chatting. We ended up sitting down in the kind of like the restaurant area where they people can sit down and have some food or coffee. And this young man and I spoke for 2 hours. And ironically, he was looking for a good supplement, and his parents wanted to get on good supplements. So we had an excellent conversation, but it was just very smooth, and it just everything seemed to be like the stars were aligned and I was supposed to meet this guy. And it was really um, a pleasure to get to know him, to learn about his family. Going to be going and setting up a time to scan his parents, and he's already got his new scan account set up. So yeah, it's you never know. You never know who you're going to meet.
Absolutely. Actually, just as a final thing about scanning, yesterday when I was at this event, and the guy who was talking gave the talk about AI, and he had his team of people there. I scanned them, obviously, and two of them scanned 100. And, I said, okay. And they said, can we do it again? I said, sure. Give it 10 minutes and we'll do it again. I scanned them again after about 10 minutes and 100. And the guy looked at me and he said, but I'm a fitness coach. I said, I can see you are a fitness coach, but you actually have no clue about health, about your health, about your wellness. It's not fitness, it's wellness. Wellness is fitness and health. And it starts on the inside. How's your nutrition? He said, I'm all about meat. And I said, that's also great. You got a lot of muscle, but where the hell is the rest of it? You know? So he immediately said, can I get one of these things right now? I said, absolutely. And that's where we get into our little Stella, and I put in the order right there and then, and he got the package. So again, it's not, you don't know who you're going to meet, but you've got something that is an emotional hook, which is the prism. Doesn't matter who you talk to. It could be a mom, it could be who, it doesn't matter. It's an emotional hook when you can show them something about themselves that they may not know. And that's their health. At least one of the biomarkers of an important part of their health. So, okay, guys, thank you. If there's anything else, anybody else, please, I'm all ears. Obviously, you can see they look like elephant ears, African elephant, pretty big ears. Anybody got anything else to add? Love to hear it.
Lawrence, try and script yourself too tightly, then you are going to be in transmit mode. You're not going to be in listen mode. And that's going to tempt you to vomit on them. And that's the worst thing you can possibly do. Um, there's a little book called Questions Are the Answers. And I think that's very relevant in this case. We all need to be asking questions. And there's a wonderful quote: the quality of the questions
Determinist quality of the answer. Yeah.
Wait, I missed the last part. What did he say? The quote?
Yeah, the quote is this: the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And don't try and script yourself. Learn a few things that you can throw out and, in response to questions. But to try and just have a set piece is not going to work with almost any audience. It's just not.
Great.
And in line with what Kelly was saying, is a wonderful line in a Beatles song: "Think for yourself, because I won't be there with you."
Good. Good. Thank you, Mark.
And again, one other thing: if we think about this thing, make sure enough other people get what they want, and you can have whatever you want. Isn't that exactly what the Beatles did? They gave incredible music and artistry to literally to the world. And a recent interview with Ringo Starr, they said, well, how is it being wealthy? He said, well, the money's great. He said, I have everything I could ever want. But he said, that's not the fulfillment. The fulfillment is family and a wonderful life.
Yeah. Good. Okay, good. Thank you, Mike. Martin. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then thank you, guys. Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Carol, Kelly, and Kelly O'Neill, and King Kelly and Queen Kelly over here. And Martin, thanks everybody for your input. Mike, he's not doing
Thank you,
it.
Lawrence.
God bless you guys. Have a good weekend.
Thank everybody
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a
Sign
good
up for
weekend,
the
Lawrence. Thank you.
sign up for the fly-in in August 27, 28, 29. Don't forget to do that. I'm going to do that myself now. I keep forgetting. Blessings to
Already
everybody.
done.
Everybody
Thank
have a
you.
I
great
already
week.
did mine.
Of course you did. God
Thanks,
bless you
Lawrence.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you,
care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.